Ishan Gopal 12A051. I'm going to present the paper Important Highlights of FTP 2015-2020. This paper has been co-authored by me and Ronak, 12B105. Um, now, in 2015, we saw the emergence of a very strong central government. And with it, we also saw the rise of a lot of policies. For example, Make in India, Digital India, Skilled India. What do these policies actually imply? What do they aim at? What's their end goal? For example, Make in India. Now, you want to make India the manufacturing hub. You want to start actually producing things over here. Now, this implies any production economically obviously implies a consumption. And for proper consumption to happen, both the domestic consumption and international consumption is important. Which is why the way a foreign trade policy is planned, it's drafted, the way it folds out, will really determine the success of how these other policies of yours actually work out. Um, Digital India scheme was launched to ensure an increased infrastructure and availability and accessibility of internet in both rural and urban areas. Through this, even government services will be dispersed in a more fair and transparent manner. Now, this the direct byproduct, a direct result of this is an increase in the services sector. The more the people have access to internet, the more information they can avail, and the more of their own services they can launch. Um, the biggest reasons to the growth in the IT sector was an improved infrastructure for digital services. And Skill India also is trying a similar thing. It's going to by the end of 2020 train more than 40 crore people in a few essential skills. Now we're going to discuss how the foreign trade policy is going to affect these three schemes and vice versa. Now, two of the most important additions in the FTP are the MEIS and the SEIS, that is the manufacture export from India and the services export from India. Now, mm, the introduction and the object shows us a brief highlight of what the important aspects are. I'll move over to how the MEIS is going to incentivize manufacture and export within India, and how Make in India and MEIS literally go hand in hand. Uh, yeah. Now, in MEIS, what happens is that the FOB value, that is the freight on board value, uh, a certain amount of it, that's 2 to 5%, uh, can be reclaimed as a reward. And now there are certain groups of products on which these rewards can be claimed. And the scripts which are issued from this can be used for the payment of customs duty, services, service tax, excise duty, so on and so forth. And it's also important to note that this time, for both SEIS and MEIS, SEZs have been included. Before we carry on to the SEIS scheme, I would like to highlight the importance of exports of both products and services. Now, we can clearly, after 2008, after the recession, the global economy has been in recovery mode. It's been faltering, and we've seen the growth massively in Asian giants, for example, India and China. The whole world knows there's immense potential in these two countries. However, I would like to show this small little statistic. Um, I don't know if this is visible. I'll just make it larger. You can see the difference between how this is on the top. On the left side, we have billions of US dollars, and we have the years below. Now you can see till how till 1970s we're almost at par, and suddenly they take a sharp peak. We clearly know this is because China became one of the primary manufacturing exports in the world. It became a global leader in this sector. However, I do not propose we follow the same route. Yes, making in India is very important. Having our own products, having our own manufacture is very important. But we have our own advantages. We have our own skill set which we can exploit. And I'm specifically referring to services. A lot of IT services are being exported to India. A lot of manual work which is too expensive to carry out in the first world economies can happen in India. Now, this might be low end work, but it employs a lot of people and it increases the net value of what we are exporting. Hence, incentivizing these service exports is also an essential part, and that's exactly what the FTP aims to do by the SEIS. I'll just move over to the SEIS. Yeah. Similarly, in the SEIS also, we have a 3 to 5% reward system, and there are few services are covered. For example, taxation services, legal services, accounting, engineering, management, advertising, hotel, restaurant, etc. A lot of these services are very high value. For example, a lot of legal work from a few of the top firms in both USA, UK, and other common law countries are being exported to India. And of course, our hospitality is considered excellent. The hotel sector in a lot of states are dramatically improving. For example, Rajasthan, Kerala, Himachal Pradesh is seeing a massive increase. Other states are also catching up. For example, West Bengal, which is very rich with its own heritage and its wildlife, is now actually promoting the same. And the same trend can be observed in all the other states. We're all coming up to improve our services architecture, and the scheme clearly supports so. Uh, and again, just like the MEIS, the benefits are again included to SEZs. Um, Now, this is how we can see how Make in India, Digital India, they both have a pivotal role in how the FTP is structured, and the FTP has a pivotal role in the success of in these two schemes. Apart from this, there's also another interesting addition, that is the Export of Promotion Capital Goods Scheme. Now, this wasn't a new inclusion in the FTP 2015; it was already there from 2009. However, there's a small catch, that is if the capital goods are procured from indigenous manufacturers, then your export obligation is no longer 90% as it was in the 2009 policy. It's now 75%. The obligation. When you load on an obligation, you have much more flexibility in the terms of where you can sell and what you can do. And this flexibility is only offered if you buy from an indigenous manufacturer. Both me and my co-author Ronak Kapoor are very optimistic of the FTP. We think it's trade friendly, it's progressive. It is right, and it is exactly what India needs right now. It's going to promote our exports. It's going to promote and incentivize manufacturing. In India, we're going to take our goods and export them. Our services too, which is a very vital part of who we are as a nation, how our economy can actually grow. Because if you look at a historical and economic perspective, just rapidly increasing the manufacturing sector is not a very progressive way. Like the path that China adopted, I would not necessarily say it's sustainable and the right way to go. Therefore, an equal stronghold on services must be maintained, and the FTP does all the same. We hope it turns out well, and thank you so much for watching the presentation.